Hello, everyone. This is Starry Ari's ASMR. I am Ari, and today I am sat here in my kitchen with my meal calendar because we are now in March. So you can see I have my February meal calendar here. You can see we did some silly little Valentine's Day drawings, and it is that time for me to erase this so that I can fill out a new one for March. So we had a pretty busy February, but we were gone on vacation for a decent amount of the month, and it was already a shorter month, but we were really busy preparing, and then we were busy just kind of catching up with stuff, and we were hosting this last weekend, so we had a bit of a whirlwind of a month. And looking forward, I hope that March is a little bit more calm. We have a few things planned, but I think in general it should be mostly calm. So I'm very excited for that. I think that I desperately need just a calmer month. And I have done quite a lot of these videos. If you haven't ever seen them before, I will link a playlist. You can just go ahead and check those out, but I'll just kind of briefly explain this. So this is a big calendar that my husband and I do every month. We kind of sit down before I fill it out and just brainstorm some meals or, some things that we're just really craving or wanting in the upcoming month. Maybe things that we really liked if we tried a new meal in the last month, is that something we want to add into our rotation? We just kind of talk about all of that. And then I take our brainstormed meals and just kind of fill them out, I think, where it makes sense for our upcoming month and our plans. And then we love leftovers. So you'll see these days that have FFY. You'll see we have a lot of them because we usually like to make a meal and then we schedule a day to eat leftovers from that meal. So it is just my husband and myself in the house. So it's a little bit easier for us, I think, to plan to make enough regularly that we will have leftovers. So that's kind of the brief rundown of the calendar. And then this just hangs up on our fridge, just on the front of our fridge, so that we can always just kind of quickly reference it. And I have a couple of cookbooks over here on the side, as well as some old recipe cards from meal boxes that we had tried just years ago. And I also have this recipe box, which I love. I love our cute little recipe card box. But I don't know if I'm gonna need to grab anything out of here. I usually just kind of do just to show you the recipe. So that's kind of the setup. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and erase our old February calendar. I just do that with a clean paper towel because it makes it a little bit easier than just a small little eraser. I do usually like to do some sort of little drawing at the top. It's usually just relevant to whatever month it is. Or if we have, a particular celebration or anything like that. I say it every month, but it is always satisfying to wipe this clean and just kind of start fresh. It's like a good little reset as we go into a new month. And when we were brainstorming for March, a little bit of a slump. I think it's just because February was just so busy for us. We were just having a little bit of a harder time kind of thinking about what meals we were really craving, what sounded good, but more importantly, what we would be in the mood to cook. And this is when my master list of meals, I just have on my notes app in my phone a list of like all of the meals that we make, from our super basic like grilled cheese and, you know, chef salad, stuff like that, to our more like intensive meals. I have a list of just all of that. And when we try out a new recipe, if it goes well and we want to maybe make it again, it gets added to the list. So this month we're just kind of having to draw from our list and just, you know, see what we were kind of like okay adding, and then I hope that as the month goes along we'll be a little bit more like into it. But I think we were just a little bit run down after a bit of a busier month. So now that February is all cleared off of the calendar, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the dates for March, and I'm gonna write March up at the top here. And then March has 31 days, and I just like to write the dates just up in the top corner like this, just a little bit smaller so that I have plenty of space to write the meal or anything else kind of in the box here. When I was planning for February, I had said like, wow, this month went really, really well for planning. Like it just, you know, it being a shorter month, it was really easy to plan for. And I think I kind of jinxed myself a little bit for coming into March, because March was a little bit harder to think about meals that we wanted. Okay, so we've got March laid out here, and you know what, actually I'm going to put 1st and 2nd of April here because we do grocery shopping on Fridays. And so for this Friday, I want to have like the full next week planned out so that I know kind of what we need to get for groceries. Alright, so we have March all fully filled out. And then we were hosting this last weekend, and so we actually have lots of leftovers from, we just like ate out at restaurants for dinner. And so we have lots of leftovers from our restaurant food. So I'm going to just start by filling things out and just kind of go in order. And I actually forgot, I usually mark days, like if we have trips or anything. And we actually don't have a joint trip. My husband is gonna be visiting family over a weekend, but I'm gonna be staying at home with our dog. And so we don't really have anything that I need to kind of mark off for the days. So yeah, we'll do leftovers, and then we have already kind of gotten the stuff for the rest of this week, so I just need to figure out when we are doing what. And I think next we're gonna do spaghetti, because we do love spaghetti, and it's a really easy meal for us to make because we cheat and just get like store-bought, you know, pasta and sauce and all of that. And then we usually like to add, you know, like sometimes we'll do ground turkey and mushrooms or spinach or whatever we're kind of feeling. So this week we got mushrooms and ground turkey and the sauce, and then I also have sourdough on the side to make some garlic bread to go with our spaghetti. Some like sourdough garlic bread because we love sourdough. So So we'll do spaghetti there, and we will most certainly have leftovers from that because we make enough for like a family of 8, I swear. Alright, so we'll do the fend for yourself on the 3rd. And then we actually also got stuff for our pork carnitas tacos. And we have a card for it over here. And this was one of our HelloFresh meals, and it's something we usually like to make, you know, once every few months. It's so good, and we pickle some red onion, and it's just I love red onion, and they're just really good, you know, pretty basic, easy to make tacos. So we're gonna do that on the 4th, and I'm very much looking forward to those because they're just so tasty, and who doesn't like tacos, right? Alright, and then we will have some leftovers from that. We always end up having a decent amount of like leftover taco meat and certainly lots of pickled onions. And then on this Friday, I do kind of want something a little bit easier just for like we are a little bit busier like work-wise and stuff on this day, so I'm gonna do sausage mac, and this is just our really basic quick throw together basically like mac and cheese meal, but we get the lactose free I don't remember if it's dairy free or lactose free mac and cheese, but my husband is lactose intolerant, so we try and, you know, make those swaps where we can, or make meals that don't have dairy and then I can, you know, add cheese on mine or something like that. And we get a box of the Daiya mac and cheese, and then we'll do kind of frozen broccoli, or we've done other veggies, but we do frozen broccoli and we air fry it so it's nice and crispy. And we add onion and typically andouille sausage, and we mix that all together, and it's really, really delicious and not particularly healthy, but I trick myself because it has broccoli, it has onion. So we'll do that on the 6th, and that will give us some leftovers for Saturday on the 7th. And then this week, let's see, I do kind of want to have a bigger meal on the 8th here, so that we can at least have dinner leftovers, and then I might still have, you know, lunch leftovers on Tuesday, or for Tuesday. So I think I want to do our chicken enchilada soup. Enchilada soup. And this is one that we get out of this top book here. And it's so good, and it's so easy because it's in the Instant Pot. There you go. It's so delicious, and it's really, we love Instant Pot meals because so often you can just kind of like throw everything in and then call it good, especially for soups. And then we usually will get some like tortilla strips so that we can dip it in the soup. And it's very, very tasty, pretty easy to put together. So I have been kind of craving that a little bit. So I think we'll do that on the 8th. And like I said, we'll definitely have leftovers from that, at least for dinner on Monday and probably for lunch on Tuesday as well. So for dinner on the 10th, we did have beef and broccoli on our February meal calendar originally, and then we ended up not needing it. Like, we had made enough for leftovers for that week that we just didn't need to get the stuff for it. So I'm going to put that back on our calendar for March. Beef and broccoli. And this is another Instant Pot meal that I found on Pinterest, and it's really good. I really like beef and broccoli, but most places that I get it, it's just so crazy salty, and I can't do it. So I really like our beef and broccoli because we've doctored it a little bit, and we know, how we make it is like palatable for me, and I actually enjoy it. So we'll do beef and broccoli on the 10th, and then do Fend for Yourself on the 11th. And on the 12th here, I'm thinking my husband really would like to do schnitzel. And usually we do schnitzel with Brussels sprouts or asparagus or whatever kind of veggie on the side we're feeling. I think I'm going to do schnitzel with Brussels sprouts. Probably don't need to write the veggie. This way I can just kind of plan ahead for it. So we'll do that on the 12th, and then that gives us leftovers for this day here, which is good because this is the weekend actually that my husband is going to be gone. And so we have some freezer leftovers, so some of our extra portions, like we have some chili and some of our Cajun rice up in the freezer that I will probably pull down so that I can have those leftovers this weekend, so that I'm not having to stress about cooking small enough portions, or if I don't need to cook and we have leftovers, I'm happy to have that. So I will do another kind of Fend for Yourself day here. And he's coming back on the 15th, but I think I still maybe want something just a little bit more simple. And I think I'm gonna do chef salads. I don't think we've actually done chef salads in a little while. And it's just really, really super easy. I love hard-boiled eggs, so we'll usually boil up some extra eggs so that I can just kind of snack on them for the days following it. So we'll do chef salads on that 15th, and we'll definitely have some leftover eggs that we can make some more chef salad for leftovers on the 16th. And the 17th, is St. Patrick's Day, and every year we do corned beef and cabbage. So I'm gonna write corned beef and cabbage. And then my husband usually makes soda bread, and every year he usually, will try and improve his soda bread a little bit. And so he made one, I think, in the fall, but he's looking forward to trying it again. And I love good soda bread, so he'll probably make that for another side. So we'll do the corned beef and cabbage, and of course that also has, potatoes and carrots and celery and all that, but we'll do that, and we most certainly will have leftovers. I love corned beef. It's so salty and just so delicious, and I absolutely love it. So I am really looking forward to that. At the beginning of planning, I was saying that we were it was a little bit lackluster, but now that I'm writing out all these meals, it's actually getting me excited for the meals. So I'll do a Fend for Yourself here, and then sometimes we have a decent amount of leftovers from this. It depends on what size I package, and usually we just get the pre-packaged pre-seasoned stuff from the grocery store. I usually try and get the smallest one that I can, but last year they were out, and so we had to get a medium one, and it gave us a decent amount of leftovers. So I want something simple here that isn't really gonna, if we get stuff for it, isn't gonna go to waste. So I'm gonna do grilled cheese, because we will certainly have bread, we'll have cheese just regularly in our ingredients, and we will get tomato soup, and we might actually already have some extra cans of tomato soup in our cupboard that we don't even need to get, so that'll be a good one. You know, if we need a meal, we can just make some grilled cheese really quick. If we don't, we can erase this and have it just be a fend for yourself night. So we will do grilled cheese, and then I think we had an event, or there was something going on for my husband's work on the 20th, and I think we were going to go to a work dinner on the 20th. So I'm going to do a fend for yourself. If not, we can just kind of shuffle things around and it'll be okay. And then on the 21st, oh, I've been really craving some breakfast for dinner. And we very rarely make like pancakes or waffles or anything at breakfast time because we just kind of do our own thing. Oftentimes I'll just have oatmeal, or I'll make myself like an egg sandwich, and we just, you know, have tea and coffee and whatever at our own pace. But I always like to do breakfast for dinner every now and then because I love breakfast food. So this gives us the chance to maybe have some waffles and pancakes or whatever we're feeling. Usually I feel like we make waffles, but we'll see. We do French toast sometimes too. Actually, French toast does sound really good, but we'll see what we're feeling there. And then usually we eat any leftovers from this for breakfast the next day. So I think, want to plan a meal on the 22nd. And I am thinking I want to do gyros. So this is something my husband really wanted this month, and I don't think we've done them for a couple months, so it'll be good to kind of do those again. They're always really good, and we definitely have enough leftovers from that. I'm going to do a fend for yourself day on the 23rd. And then here on the 24th, I do want a meal, and I'm thinking I might just do our pesto pasta because it is quick and easy to make, and sometimes we'll do like bow tie pasta or even like tortellini if we want, and pesto, and then we'll get, you know, mushrooms and spinach, and sometimes we'll do like bell peppers and sausage if we're feeling, or ground sausage. Like we can kind of switch it up to whatever we're feeling, or if I notice something is on sale when I'm doing the grocery shopping for it, you know, we just kind of change it to whatever we're wanting that week or whatever makes sense. And then we'll do a fend for yourself with the leftovers from that on the 25th. And then here, I have really been wanting to do our stuffed mushrooms, and usually we have them as a side with steak whenever we have something to celebrate and we want to make like a special meal at home. Usually we'll pick up some steak and do crab stuffed mushrooms on the side, and we just use imitation crab. We don't use actual real crab, but we usually, it's like a cream cheese, imitation crab, lots of good seasonings mixed in. You mix it together, roll it into balls, and stuff the mushrooms, and then you bake them, and they are so good. But we don't really have anything like special to, you know, get steaks for, so I think I'm just gonna do just like a baked chicken and stuffed mushrooms. Baked chicken and stuffed mushrooms. And then this way we can have a little bit of a cheaper protein, and then I can still get my stuffed mushrooms on the side. And I do assume that we'll probably have some leftovers from that. So I'm going to do fend for yourself on the 27th. And then, let me see, I think on the 28th, I want to do, oh, maybe we'll do Alfredo again. We tried an Alfredo recipe in January, and it was the first time that we had tried a lactose-free Alfredo, or I guess low lactose, because it does still have Parmesan, but Parmesan has really low lactose in it, or so I believe. And we did chicken Alfredo in January, and then we kind of learned a little bit and we wanted to doctor up the Alfredo sauce a little bit just to our own liking, and so we tried it again in February and we did shrimp Alfredo because I love shrimp. And this month my husband wanted to do like andouille Alfredo, so we do Alfredo with andouille sausage. Andouille sausage is like one of our favorite sausages. It's so tasty. So we're gonna try that, and we'll do that on the 28th. We've really been liking Alfredo. Alfredo is one of my husband's favorite pasta sauces, but he's just not really able to get it when we're out and about just because it has like so much dairy in it. So like typically it has so much dairy. So we're very excited to have found a good recipe that like doesn't bug him and it's really delicious. So we'll do Alfredo with andouille on the 28th, and we will have fun for yourself on the 29th with the leftovers from that. And I am thinking, now that I was talking about shrimp from February, I'm realizing I don't think I have a shrimp meal yet, and I love shrimp. If you've seen any of my other calendar videos, I feel like I talk about my love for shrimp every month. So I think I want to do shrimp tacos on the 30th here. And I just, thinking about shrimp like makes me so happy. I just love it. So I'll do shrimp tacos there. We will have some leftovers from that on the 31st. And then I think maybe just one more meal, and then we'll do leftovers on this Thursday. And I was thinking I wanted to look back at these recipe cards and see, because we're doing the pork carnitas tacos, and we have this cheesy smothered mushroom chicken, which is good, but I don't know if I'm really feeling that. Ooh, the Italian noodle soup is definitely a really good one. We love this soup, and it is such a good soup. I think that I might do the Italian noodle soup. I was thinking about maybe doing the smoky chicken with the creamy cilantro sauce, but now that I'm looking at it, I think I want the Italian noodle soup. So we will do the Italian noodle soup on the 1st. Italian noodle soup. There we go. And then that kind of leaves us just with the 2nd here, and we can just do a fun for yourself on the 2nd. And I'm gonna do just kind of a little look over and see if anything is jumping out at me that maybe doesn't make sense together. I mean, this week having the beef and broccoli and the schnitzel and then the corned beef right after, I mean, it might be kind of meat heavy, but I think that's okay. My husband certainly won't mind. So I think everything kind of looks good. Now that I've written this out, there are some meals that I am really looking forward to, which is, you know, one of my favorite things about doing the calendar every month is even on the days when I'm not feeling particularly motivated, a lot of the time, you know, I've already done the planning. Like I just sat down for less than 30 minutes, planned out our entire month for dinners, and I don't really have to think about it again other than, you know, making sure we get the ingredients for that next week and then just actually making the meals. But we always end up moving things around as things come up, you know, life happens, and we just kind of need to be a little flexible. So this will certainly look different by the end of the month, but it makes me feel better to just have a good blueprint when we go into a new month like this. I hope that you enjoyed hanging out with me as I filled out our new meal calendar for March. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful